What a movie. Alright, so I'm going to talk a little bit about Mother. I'm going to briefly talk about Mother because it's really hard to describe unless you see the movie. So Mother is directed by Darren Aronofsky, who has done The Fountain, Requiem for a Dream, among several other movies, last known for Noah. Yeah, we'll forget about that one. But regardless, this one is starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Really focusing more on Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. They're a husband and wife living in this giant home, and this home has a lot of mystery to it, and a lot of the times these two characters are having an odd ends. It's their dream home. Javier Bardem is he's a poet, and he is having a major writer's block, and Jennifer Lawrence is just pretty much trying to restore the house. She's painting it. She keeps having these visions of things that are happening in the house, and you really don't know what's going on. And then Ed Harris shows up randomly in the middle of nowhere, by the way, and pretty much things unravel from there. And I'm not really going to discuss too much about the plot because it'll give a lot of things away. I'm going to talk briefly about some pros and cons without getting into spoiler territory. I know a lot of people have talked about this movie. Pros of this movie is there's a lot of metaphor in it. For me, personally, I love stories that have a lot of metaphor where I leave the theater thinking about bigger things, about what I just saw in the movie. So it's not about what's happening on the screen. Yes, what's happening on the screen is really, really important, but it really makes you think about the things that are a lot deeper than that, and what all these metaphors and what are these things connected to that, what, and what's happening in real life. And there's a lot of commentary I can see in this movie. And that's something that I think is a really cool aspect of this film. Another thing is, I know It just came out recently, but to me, Mother is scarier than It, for different reasons, of course. Where It is a more, jump out scare, kind of like you're afraid of stuff, so you're fearful of things. But with Mother, it's about psychological horror, and the way Darren Aronofsky shoots this film is really close up. It's like what I'm doing right now. I'm breathless. It's constantly just focusing on Jennifer Lawrence's face or Javier Bardem's face. It's extreme close-ups about things, and you hear literally every single detail of everything. So you hear my refrigerator kicked on in the middle of this interview or this review, and something like that really just occurred. You can hear literally every aspect of this. My fan's going on. You can hear some background noise. You can hear me put my remote down or something. You can hear literally everything in the room, and that's something that I think is really claustrophobic. So I would say if you're claustrophobic, don't watch this movie. But it also just creeps into your head. It's very psychological. The last time I felt this was with 2016's The Witch, which really divided audience as well. And that's actually what my con is this is a very divisive film. I really can't get into it, and I don't really want to, because to me, I love this movie because it's so original and it's undertaking. But the con is I would be so divisive because some people are going to go into this movie with the preconceived notion that this is a typical horror movie. It's about this thing that's going on in the house. But it would be very divisive. So I would say if you don't like movies that make you really think a lot more, I'm not trying to dumb down the audience, by the way. People who watch this review, I'm not trying to divide the audience at all. I'm just saying if you aren't used to these kind of films, you might not like it. So it's definitely a very divisive film. Not as divisive as It Comes at Night, I don't think, when I reviewed that. It's a very good film if you take the time to appreciate it and let it settle. And when I say settle, it's not really going to settle that well with most people, even the ones who enjoy it, like myself. So what is this? Where do I stand on this? I actually think you should go watch this movie or own it sometime. I actually give it a 5 out of 5. There's very few films right now that are in my top 5 or top 10 list of end of the year movies, but this one is near the top, and it's because I love film so much, and because I love things that make me really explore myself a little bit outside of the theater after I watch the film. That's something about Mother that I really appreciate. And now this is a really fucked up movie. So if you don't want to, don't watch this movie because it's definitely, like I said, very divisive. And I'm sorry I can't really be too detailed here because I really don't want to give anything away to anybody. So regardless of that, I want to hear your thoughts on Mother. Don't leave any spoilers down below if you've already seen it. I just want to hear your thoughts on it. And I thank you all for listening and tuning into my review of Mother. I think it's really interesting and awesome to support some small YouTubers here. Alright, well thank you so much. Give me a like, comment, share down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. I'm not jonesing around.